welcome to Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy show on any station across the nation. I am your host, Brian Quinby, and my co-host Brett is on assignment, so I have brought in a co-host. And my co-host here, that you can see if you're watching, is Drew Toothpaste. What's going on with you, Drew?
Just, man, trying to take care of my garden. I still got pandemic brain. I've been trying to get out of the house, got vaccinated, but still sitting around growing kale and shit.
That's what I do. I mean, I literally don't do anything because I often forget that you can do stuff.
I'm totally out of the loop. I just realized that I can go to the store if I want. Just like a month ago, I'm like, I could just go to the store.
You can. They will let you do that. I want to go. I want to go do like Top Golf. I think is this thing I want to try. Not that I think like I'd ever be good at golf or that I want to play golf. I just am like, I haven't done anything in a year. I went to the movies. So I've been to the movies once.
Did you?
Yep. And I'll probably go again, I would imagine. So, yeah, Brett is out of town tonight. And instead of taking the night off, like I always should when he's out of town, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to work. I'm going to come in. I'm going to take some phone calls. And I'm going to go to work. So that's what's going on. I do need to announce something. Rest in peace to Heat O'Brien. He's dead. Now, I killed him. And he's dead and buried in a hole. And he will not be back. Unless we come up with a really good idea to do another Heat O'Brien thing. Which we do have ideas. So he will be back.
Are you sure?
Yep, but he's dead. He's dead as a doornail. And you know what? He'll come back. I'm sure, but I'm glad that I got to kill him, and I'm glad I don't have to do that show anymore because I gave all of my I think I gave all of my neuroses out there. Everybody has gotten all of my neuroses. They know exactly what's going on with me and my head now. They know that I suck titties. They know all this stuff. And it was time to kill him. And it's time to move on to a new show. And this week it is a F1 show with Brett. And I can't remember who it is. So that's mean that I didn't figure out who the co-host is with Brett on the F1 show. So that's going to be going. Well, if I'm not in it, I don't think about it. It's kind of how I work, It's like, no, I'm not on it. I mean, why should I think about it?
You gotta give that old thinker a break, man.
Yeah,
it's like a muscle. You're going to hurt yourself if you just stay on it 24/7.
Yeah. You can only hold so much information in your brain. And, I did not have enough room for information, but I think what's coming up next on the feed on the Patreon is a show where we allow people to yell at us for things we've been unfair about. So, ska.
Oh.
What was it? We got ska, we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we got classic rock, some non-rock related ones that I can't remember right now, but pets. We're going to let people yell at us about our anti-pet stance, but
are you sure about that?
Yep. I don't mind. Hey, I know that's an unpopular thing to have, is to be like, I don't like pets, but I think the way I think about it is like people can have pets. I don't mind. I just don't like it. So I don't have a pet,
I'm done with pets for like right now. Right now in my life. I'm not gonna say never. I've had some pets. I've had all kinds of pets, but you get to take a break, and then you appreciate the next time you get some little animal, right?
I haven't had a pet since I was 18. So, I haven't ever decided I wanted one because I've lived in apartments. I'm a renter for life, as I've said a million times. I'm not allowed to have a pet. And that's a good excuse for me not to have a pet. So I just don't have one.
Yeah, once you got to start justifying it to other people, you gotta get the reasons. But the core of it is I don't want a pet right now, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to take care of an animal, and that's all right. I took real good care of all our animals we ever had, and it's just you take a break, come back to it, you're fresh.
Yeah. I don't like shit climbing all over me while I'm watching TV. So once my daughter got old enough to not do that anymore, I was like, that's never happening again. And that's why I only have one kid. No more climbing. But I'm looking at the chat. And New Magic said, I'm going to come fuck you up about giving your daughter the good car. And I want to clarify the good car conversation we had. She will be driving the good car primarily. But it's still my car. I'm not giving her the car and then buying myself a junky, shitty car, you know?
Yeah.
But I will drive the junky, shitty car most of the time. I have always been the junky, shitty car guy. Even anytime me and my wife had two cars, we are not a two nice car family. We are either a two shitty car family or one semi-nice car and one shitty car family. We've never had two nice cars. No, that's kind of an impossible thing to have. So I've always just driven the shitty car because, you know, if I got to hold stuff together with duct tape and stuff, or I can't drive on the freeway, I'd rather it be me that's inconvenienced than somebody that I love.
I don't like driving as it is. So like having the better of two cars. Like I recently had to get rid of my station wagon, but that was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And that thing sounded like shit. Like the exhaust was always falling off, and I don't care. I drive it around. For a while, they kept sending me letters telling me that nobody could ride in the passenger seat because the airbag would explode and kill them.
Explode? Okay.
Yes, that was not the family car. That was my car. It's a driver only car.
That's cool though. I mean, it's like a motorcycle, but with more materials on it.
Well, my daughter used to call it the motorcycle car, and my wife called it the shipmobile. So
Yeah. I had one that like the exhaust busted and it sounded like a Harley Davidson motorcycle. And we used to get pulled over and get tickets all the time. And I always just wanted to scream at the cop. It's like, what about the Harley Davidsons I see? These fucking motorcycles are loud as fuck. Why can't my car be loud as fuck?
That's why I got the time I left your house and I got pulled over.
Yeah.
By the suburban cop.
But they'll let a motherfucker... Yeah. They'll let a motherfucker drive a motorcycle that you can hear across town.
Yeah.
Fuckers, man. Motherfuckers. So, yeah. So that's what's going on with me. I mean, I hurt my foot. Announced that on the Basement Show this week. I fucked my foot up and didn't take a break from walking. So I walked 50,000 steps yesterday. That is 23 miles. And today my foot hurts so bad. It feels like what I imagine getting hit in the foot with a grenade would feel like. That's what I imagine it hurts as much as. But I still walk today. I'm going to walk tomorrow. And eventually it'll just fix itself, or I will get used to walking get used to walking in pain. You know, you got the same pain for a long enough time, you just adjust to it. And you just assume it's going to be there. When you get out of bed, your back's going to hurt, right? Yeah. So I'm wearing a compression sock, which is a piece of, I don't know if it works or not, but it's like a fingerless glove socks. So it's like a sock, but then there's no front. And I have a blister on my foot from overcompensating with the way that I've been walking. And so now I'm wearing a blister thing on my foot. And,
You know what I've been doing lately? I got I get tendonitis in my arms, and I got some of that weed cream. I got weed lotion.
yeah, I use that.
And they're like, no, use as much as you want. You are not going to feel it. But what I did is I rubbed it on my arm, like right where you can see all the veins. It goes right into your veins, man.
Yeah.
It definitely is active.
Hey, Jason, is my mic working?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Scuzz Monkey, my mic is working. It is on. So maybe I just sound like shit because I keep leaning away from it or something. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Yeah, man. Compression. First of all, yes, he's dead. Heat O'Brien's dead. Compression cocksock is not anything. Okay. Also, I don't think it's going to get worse. Is my issue, right? Like my foot.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, what's down there to get fucked up? It's probably just sore bones in there. I'm just thinking it's sore bones and everything's going to be okay.
It's just those tendons. You walked on it for all your life. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. You got to drink milk. I'll probably drink milk, you know?
Do people still do that? Do they drink milk?
I guess they do. My wife sprained her ankle.
Yeah.
It's been hurting her real bad lately. And she went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, it just takes time for something like that to heal. And I was like, okay. And the doctor didn't do anything. And then she called her mom, and her mom was like, you know what? You should drink green tea. And I just laughed my ass off because I was like, green tea is not going to help the pain in your foot. It's just not going to go away from green tea. But my wife's side of the family, they're all about like, you get the flu, you take lemongrass.
Oh yeah.
Situations and stuff like that. Yeah. So they don't fix anything. They don't go to the doctor. They just fucking will be like, I'm going to rub a little bit of salami on my foot and the pain will go away. I heard that somewhere. So I'm getting yelled at for not picking up calls yet. Buddy, you called in too early. I usually don't pick up calls until we've been talking for like 30 minutes, you know? So you're just going to have to hold off, baby. I'll get on the calls in just a minute. Don't you people worry about a thing. I'm trying to tell everybody about how good my weekend's been, where I hurt my foot. And also, I feel a little dizzy right now, but I just drank Kratom and, you know, I guess let's take the calls, you know? Hey, if you guys want to yell at us for not taking calls, that's fine. That just means we'll end the show early. That's all it means. We'll be home watching TV before you fucking know it. Now, let's get the callers on. Let's talk to the people. Thank you. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, it's me, right? Well, yeah, of course it is, right?
It is you.
Okay. Yeah, it's Ryan down the road, Cincinnati, just down the road a ways.
Yeah, that's Drew's from Cincinnati. Drew's they call it Sin.
Are you originally really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the nasty natty, baby. I just down there last week.
I didn't know that.
I've been there.
So it's interesting that you're co-hosting. I never thought I would be talking to the famous Drew. And listening to like crud bumps since college.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man.
I haven't been to Cincinnati since we did that show with the Trillbillies down there. We did a secret guest spot on a show with the Trillbillies, and like it was at this yacht club place. Is that place still there?
Yacht club? Was it on the river?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually a yacht club. I think it's called the Cincinnati Yacht Club or something. It was fun. We had a hell of a time.
I have actually not heard of that. I'd have to look it up.
Wow. But, okay. Well,
I'm going to tell a joke about how I wanted to plug my podcast, but Brett's not on, so I figured it wouldn't hit.
Yeah, I won't yell at you. I'm sorry. I'm too nice to not yell at you. Woof. He was a little. Brett was a little frisky last week. I don't know what happened to him.
I supported it. I supported it.
It was long. It was just.
I'm glad he ended the show the way he did.
Longest plug ever, too. Longest plug I've ever heard for a podcast.
Really?
It did feel like it.
Yeah, guy called in and started talking about the Constitution.
Oh man, yeah. And that's the thing. A podcast is
we just gotta go ahead.
I'm just saying, a podcast is just an URL, man. I could plug a podcast in like 2.5 seconds.
That's how
I get the URL out and get it over with,
and you don't want to talk about the Constitution on a show that roundly rejects the Constitution. It's like that's not going to help. I would have just been like, I got this podcast. It's got some Constitution information.
Brian was like trying to be nice, he's like, oh, that sounds like that's an amendment I would like is weed or whatever, and the guy's like, yeah, we can pass whatever. I don't know, man, but
he's a sweet guy.
Podcast,
not mad at him.
He's fine. I don't want
yeah. It was just what happened.
The audience is like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, what happened last week was like I felt like we were on fire for like an hour and a half, and then that plug happened, and it was like, for 2.5 hours, and then that plug happened, and it slowed things down a little bit, but it was fine. If you want to call in and plug, just say like, listen to my podcast. It's called Constitutional and Tricks and Tips.
Pay $200 as well, right?
Well, no, if you just do 2 seconds. I mean, because like I'm real bad about this because I don't ask, but like if you're calling in and you want to bring up your Twitter or something like that, I'm fucking totally okay with that. Like you should, if you're trying to promote, but it's fine. That's what a call-in show. Part of what a call-in show is promotion, right? So hey, you call in and do all the promotion you want this week. The cat is away. The mice will play, is what I say. So what's going on tonight?
Yeah, and I'm not shitting on anybody. But anyway, so what was I going to say? Shit. So okay. I got a landlord kind of story for you.
Let's hear it.
It's a weird one. It's not what you might think it is. So.
Oh no! Are you going to sound like me? The worst person on the planet is me, because like I do this show that like is supposed to have some Marxism and some anarchism in it, and then anytime I talk about my landlord, I'm like, he does this, but you know what? He's a good fella. I kind of like the guy. I don't want to kill him.
No. Mine hates bidets too. I can guarantee that. So I still have not disclosed that I have one to him, because I know if I do, he's going to tell me to take it out. But
I think there's a listen, here's what I think. I think there's a landlord message board where they get mad about bidets. Is what I'm starting to think.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yeah, because there's so many people. When I posted that on Twitter about the bidet, so many people responded to me. It was like, hey, my landlord said the same thing. I'm like, some landlord. Because I found out that landlords hate those pools.
The kiddie pools?
The Intex ones or what?
Yeah, the Intex ones.
The inflatable ones, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of almost like a permanent pool, but not really. Like, they hate those pools. And they'll put it in a lease, you can't have one. And they think it ruins their basement or something like that. I don't really even know what they're mad about.
Did your landlord tell you couldn't have a bidet?
No, it's funnier than that. He made a separate contract with my lease saying that I'm responsible for anything that happens because of the bidet. I'm like, buddy, all that's happening is my asshole's clean as a whistle. That's all that's happening here. Sorry, I can't.
You got a writer in your lease?
Yes,
for your
extra lease that I have to sign separately.
That's good.
At least you got to keep it. I can confirm that the bidet is the reason why we didn't have to get toilet paper through like the entire pandemic during 2020. So that was. I highly recommend getting one if you don't have one.
It's wonderful.
But I don't quite know how to. Okay, so our oven, I bake quite a bit, right? So I was getting ready to put some like bread in, and the oven dies. So I call him, and he's like, "Oh no, your oven's dead, whatever. So do you want a new one, or do you want to fix it?" And he was giving me all these options, and he's like, "You can come to my house and bake the bread." And I was like, "That's kind of weird. I'm not going to do that."
No.
So long story short, I guess like no, dude, I'm not going to do that.
Is he close?
I have no idea where he lives.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Because if he was next door, I'd be like, well, I already did all the bread work, you know, but I'm not going to throw an unmade loaf of bread in my car and drive it somewhere.
I would do walking distance.
I think he's some distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he, when it came down to it, he was like giving me the option of whether I wanted to, because the repair was like 3/4 of the cost of the new oven. And he's like, "Is it an inconvenience to you? Like, should we just replace the part and you have it sooner, or you wait for the new oven?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I want a new oven in my house." So he's making like decisions like that you would make if you actually owned the home, which he does, right? But I feel like most landlords are like, "Well, fuck it, fix it right now for $200, and we can just keep running with this stove." So I've never had a landlord that's been this like nice, I guess. I don't know what my point is here. I'm not saying, hey, not all landlords, but like, what is it? What is the proper response to this?
I don't ever know.
Is my question.
I mean, so he got you the oven?
Yeah, so we got a brand new like gas range. It works great. But he made the decision that like made more sense from a long-term perspective. Because like if he's gonna have more tenants, you want new appliances. Like don't spend 80% of a new stove to fix the old one, right? Because it's gonna break some other way a month later.
Agreed.
Even though it might be cheaper now.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I mean, that's what I would do if I owned it. Right?
Hold on a second. I'm channeling Brett. Hey, don't call into this fucking show defending landlords. Okay? That's not what we fucking do here. I mean, look, it stands to reason. We've talked about this. I mean, landlord is a really fucking odd thing because, like, I think you do grow accustomed to your landlord, and sometimes you build a relationship with them, even if you don't like them. I said this, I think I said this on the basement show, but I have relatives that are cops, and I don't fucking scream ACAB. I have one relative that is a cop, and I don't scream ACAB at her when I see her, but I don't like her, and if there came to be a war between cops and people like me, I mean, you know, I'm not on her side.
You gotta, yeah, if the rubber hits the road, I mean, you know which side you're on, but if nothing's happening, you can just let it go. Like there's no reason to feel guilty if you have a good landlord.
It could be just like a polite Cold War in a way where you're like, hey, you know, anything can happen. You know, because you do need to understand that if your tub gets clogged, then he's going to be mad when he has to come over to unclog the tub. And then, like, he's going to be your enemy again. That's what happens with me. It's like my landlord will come over and do some shit where you're like, thank you. Thank you so much for fixing that. And then the next time he comes over, my tub clogs every 3 months.
Yeah.
Basically. And every time he comes over, he blames us for it. Every time, no matter what he pulls out of that drain, dude, he put all hair. He pulls hair out of that fucking drain, guys. And he is like, there's a lot of hair down there. And it's like, well, I got hair. So there's an issue. Like,
people live here? I don't know.
Yeah, people have hair. Do you want us all to just shave? And if I shave, when I shave, because I do shave, when I shave, the hair clogs up the drain from shaving. My short hair. I shave hardly at all. That fucking much hair, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it shouldn't clog because of hair. Hair should be able to just run through that drain. But,
well, I mean, you can have, and that's the thing is that the guy made a decision that makes sense for him, because obviously instead of fixing a 10-year-old stove or whatever, you want to get a fresh new one. but then you're gonna get some kind of shit, like there's gonna be roots in your sewer drain. And I had a landlord that was fine. He was fine for a long time. We got roots in the sewer drain. Sewage started backing up. We had liquid shit in the basement, and I was like, I think this is you, man. I think this is a you thing, the shit in the basement, man, because it's not my shit. I mean, like, it's probably part of it's my shit, but, you know, and
well,
he was
everybody's too at that point.
Yeah. It's the shit of the commons, man.
Yeah, you tube in the chat said hair catcher. Dude, we have tried every single. So we did have a little screen that went over the drain that would catch the hair, and then you just had to wipe it off. Disgusting, but it was just gross as fuck. It's just dicking around with fucking hair. It's like, can we invent something that like vaporizes the hair as soon as it touches the thing? That's an invention I came up with. As soon as your hair touches the tub, it vaporizes the hair, but it doesn't vaporize your feet. I came up with that. Write that down.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I know. But so we got it. And then he came over the tub, it still kept clogging, right? So he comes over one time and he takes this thing and he screws it on. It's like a thing that's sticking out a little bit and up that the water can just go down into the drain. Nothing big could fit under it, right? It's like this high above the drain. It's like a mushroom shaped thing, right?
Yeah.
So he puts that in there, screws it in. Okay. My wife was cleaning the tub last week and took that thing off. I cannot tell you why she would do such a thing. I asked her and she said, I'm trying to clean the sides of it. And I said, I gotta tell you, the second you removed that is going to be the reason the tub clogged. No matter what he finds in that drain, he is going to say, I don't want you taking that thing off. That's probably why it clogged. It was off for 10 minutes. She's cleaning a tub, dude. It was just water going down the drain. And I got home last week and it was clogged. I had to take, I'm going to say something. I am pro sex worker and everything, but my wife calls it a whore's bath is what it's called. And it's taking a shower without taking a shower. And
that's when you get the water from the sink and you kind of wipe off.
Oh, dude.
That's what they called it where I was from, too.
I'll tell you what I did. So I use Castile.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Basically how mine worked last week was I have Castile soap in the Dr. Bronner's Project.
Oh, yeah.
Castile soap in a big container and one of those puffy gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
Scrubbies.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I got the sink super hot. I put the Castile soap on the scrubby and I got bubbles. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Somebody in chat said my mom called that a homeless shower. I was like, is there like an unproblematic way to bring up
I've heard it called a cat's lick.
Okay, a cat's lick. We're gonna start calling it a cat's lick.
That's
probably a little better.
Bird bath. Jason said bird bath.
Bird bath is good, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I got soap. I got it bubbly.
Yeah.
Whatever, lathered up, put it all over my body. All over my fucking body. And then I tried to wipe it all off. Oh, couldn't get it all done without making a huge mess in the bathroom.
Oh no, that Dr. Bronner's, man, that stuff is so concentrated. Like you get a little bit of that on, you're like washing off. You're still bubbling up 5 minutes later, man.
So then I started smelling my hands and they smelled super like the soap, but it's lavender. And like, I wasn't into the smell. It was too much of the soap. Like it hadn't been rinsed off.
No, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't like the smell. So then I did it all again. Got it all set up.
Yeah.
Got in the tub. Quickly turned the water on. Got it all off me. Turned the water back off. Had it on cold just to encourage me to get the fuck out of the tub.
Yeah.
Still smelled bad. And I basically just gave up and then waited until the next day. I have to shower at the end of the day because I walk, again, 20 miles a day outside. You're sweaty and it's just too much. It's too fucking much. So I took a shower after the show last week, standing in chemicals from cleaning the tub because she was cleaning the tub when it clogged.
Yeah.
So it had the chemicals that she used to clean the tub in the water. I could smell them coming up. And like the water had only gotten like close to the drain. It was only like a quarter of the way out. So I stand all the way in the back of the tub. But man, it was miserable. But then he came in the next day. He snaked the drain and then said, please don't ever try to snake the drain again. Because we have a drain snake. He told us, the dude told us to buy a snake.
And then he told you not to use it.
And then he told us how to use it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He did. He told us how to use it. And I bought it with my own money, dude. I bought the snake. So the last time we tried to do it, the pipes were so rusted that it broke through the pipe and it started leaking into my dining room.
Yeah.
And he blamed that on us.
Not the pipe that's been there for fucking 70 years, right?
Yeah.
He said, and so when Katie tried to snake it last week while I was here doing the show, after he finished, he was like, I'd rather you try not to snake it because the last time you did it, it broke a hole in the pipe. And I'm like, bro, you shouldn't be able to bust a hole in a fucking pipe with a snake that's made to go down in a pipe. It should be, I don't know how weak, it has to be paper thin for that to happen. So yeah, we got in trouble for it and it was just, but we're fine. They don't charge you for it. It's just like a lecture, but you hate to be like 41 and 42 and get a lecture from somebody. You just
the way they
do your penance.
Yeah.
The way they talk to you, it's like they think they're your parents. And that's why the landlord shit sucks. Because your parents, if you get lucky, your parents will do nice shit for you.
Yeah.
Right? If you get lucky and you get good parents, your parents might fucking pay for you to do shit. They might buy you shit, right? But if you're unlucky, you get shitty parents. Your parents, everything you do is your fault, etc., etc. And the thing is that I think these fucking landlords get primed. I think they go on landlord message boards that we don't have access to. I think they have a version of Reddit that's just for landlords.
I've seen it. I have a picture of a guy that's a landlord.
Does it exist?
I've been, because I found out about, my wife wanted one of the pools in the first month of the pandemic. And I said no. And she's like, who the fuck are you to tell me no? First of all, which is a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't asking. She was saying, I want to buy one. I was like, just don't buy it because there's no way they're going to be cool with us having it. So you will have spent the money and got it, and they're not going to be cool with us having it. So then I Googled and screen capped a bunch of different landlords saying, you know, I drive by and I see them and I go knock on the door and I put a notice on the door and all this shit. So that came up again.
I think I remember you telling that story because there was somebody whose neighbor who had one, but the landlord like installed a fence so that he couldn't go over to her property anymore or something like that, or called the police on her or some shit. I remember that.
Yeah, the landlord. So the guy bought one. The landlord came and yelled at him. He moved it over to his cool neighbor's house. And then the landlord yelled at the cool neighbor, too. The neighbor owned the house. It's like, how are you going to fucking yell at this?
Because that's the thing. If you're a fucking landlord, you get it in your head that you are the dad. You're like the dad of society, and you're just sick of everybody taking advantage of dad.
That's the problem, though, is because the difference between a landlord and your parents is that, like, once you're 20, you can tell your parents to fucking cram it, you know? You can say, hey, fuck you. You're not my boss, but landlord, you can't really ever do that because then you lose your place. They have more over you than your parents do.
Absolutely.
They pretty much turn into your parents once you move out of the house.
Yes.
You have parents in the house and they can kick you out. And they can kick you out and you're worried because you're like, I don't want to get kicked out of my parents' house. But then you leave your parents' house, you get yourself a nice place, you got this landlord, the landlord turns into your parents that can kick you out.
Telling you what you can and can't do in your bathroom.
Yeah.
When they're not there. I
even feel bad sometimes. Like, my landlord was really cool when I couldn't afford rent a few times. Was like super, I mean, still made me pay it with like...
That's a big asterisk.
Yeah.
Super cool, though.
He gave me time, at least.
Yeah.
You know? But,
he didn't just kick you out on the street immediately, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes he just... I just think he... You know, it's an apartment that I've been in for 12 years that hasn't had a single update. So, like, if you live in a place for 12 years, chances are it's going to need a few, a few little things. Maybe check the HVAC system. The oven could maybe stand to be looked at, because my oven sucks too, man. So bad. It's an electric one. And you know what sucks about my oven? Is that it only has one of the big coils and three of the little tiny ones.
Oh,
I don't even think that's legal, man.
I know.
You need two big ones, yeah.
I don't know how they even found a stove that has three of the little ones.
That's the thing. A landlord will make a special trip and pay more to fuck you out of a big burner, man. They would. That is 100%.
Or something to pick this up off Craigslist.
Hey, man, you're in Cincinnati. You know the Kentucky game. You cross that bridge. You go down there.
Know, yep.
You do your dirty work. You come back across the river. That's straight landlord shit. They love it.
My stove got to be a $35 stove. There's no exhaust fan in my house, which... I don't know. I grew up in a house with exhaust fans, and I didn't realize how much. Because here's something. I don't have a dishwasher, but I don't care, because I haven't had a dishwasher in 2 decades. Like, I haven't had a dishwasher since I was like 23, maybe. So it would have been 19 years ago. So, like, I'm not missing a dishwasher. I don't give a fuck about a dishwasher. I just do them by hand. It's fine. I can handle it. And me and my wife are really good about doing them too. We don't like leave a lot of dishes in the sink. We do them 2-3 times a day. So they get done. But the oven, the refrigerator is, I mean, as small as it can be without it being a mini fridge. It's a small boy.
Yeah.
And the oven it had to be $45. That's my guess for the price of that oven is $45. I would do better with a Coleman camping stove in my kitchen. It's a piece of shit is what I'm saying. So
probably against your lease to do that.
Oh, dude. I mean, my lease has gotten to the point, like, over 12 years, they just add new stuff every year for, like, my habits.
They give you punishments in your lease?
Oh.
For my habits, you know? It's like, this year, one of the changes we're making is that, like, you're not allowed to have an ashtray with cigarette butts in it outside. You got to figure out how to make those disappear or something. That's not in it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, every year, it's like they see something we do. But you have backyard furniture, but you have to move. You're allowed to have it, but you have to move it before we mow every week.
Yeah.
So you have to move it would be the thing. I'll bet you that shows up next year.
It's a good thing. It's just a good thing that you probably have say in what got added to the lease, right? And he discusses it with you and figures out, like, hey, what can we change to make it better for you, right? And he doesn't just add that by himself.
Well, he does. And here's the other thing about it is, like, they know what the goal was with this apartment. So it's like, you know, you really want somebody who's going to stick around a lot of times if you're not going to want to do updates to the place. And they knew we were going to be there until my daughter graduated high school. So they know they got us for 2 years. Like, we can't afford to move to a different house in that neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
No motherfucking way. then I can afford to stay in a different place in that neighborhood. So I'm just there for 2 more years. But again, I'm yelling about this guy, but I kind of think I mean, he's like cool, except for like some of the, like when I gave him Kratom and then he called, I gave him Kratom and then he called the Kratom guy that I ordered. Like I gave him the web address for the thing and he took too much and he got sick and was barfing. So he got on their help page and got the guy's phone number and called him up on the phone and asked him if the Kratom was poison. And I was like, dude, you're making me look lame in front of the Kratom guy.
You gotta, it's like when you go out to dinner with your parents and then you gotta leave a little extra tip. You gotta call the Kratom guy afterwards and be like, look, that was my landlord.
Yeah.
Apologize for him.
Yeah, it was weird.
I won't want to let you guys go. But
all right.
I think in my situation, he's making good business decisions, and that's probably the bottom line. And I guess
he don't care
probably
about
not
you.
the same as I'm cautiously optimistic, so that's good.
All right.
But hey, thanks.
Have a
for
good
talking.
night.
I know you guys are going to get other calls, so have a good show. Keep listening.
Have a good night.
Cool.
See you guys. Bye.
You got to hit twice to drop the call. I did not know that. Yeah, my landlord's wild, but you know, what are you going to do, man? It's like you don't get to pick your landlord, unfortunately. I know people are like, I'm sure landlords are like, well, you know, you're kind of interviewing me.
Right.
As I kind of interview you, but that's not true. You walk
don't.
into a place and you just look at it and you're like, well, I want to move here. And then they got all the power from then on.
I mean, the fact that you show up, like if they grabbed you off the street and they're like, hey, do you want to live in my place? And you're like, I don't know. You're going to have to sell me on it. That has never happened.
No.
That has never happened that way.
No, absolutely not. Let's see who this next call is. Oh, this takes for... Hey, thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Howdy, my name's Jerry. How's it going, fellas?
How's it going, Jerry? Are you driving?
Hello?
Yeah, you're
What's
here.
up, Jerry?
Did you skid out? Are you driving?
Huh?
Are you driving?
I'm using my Bluetooth earbuds. Maybe I should take this off.
Yeah, it sounded like you were skidding out and wrecking when you first called, and I was like, yikes. I think he's dying. I think we just heard a guy die.
I'm not skating. I just took my Bluetooth earbuds off.
Oh, what's up, Jerry?
Out in the street in New York, and it just, it's kind of noisy out here.
Always is. It always is. What's going on tonight?
Oh, nothing. I'm waiting to go to an open mic, and I'm just calling your show and how it's going with Hip Hop.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm waiting to go to this open mic, and I'm just calling your show to see what's going on.
Oh, we're just hanging out, taking phone calls,
Chilling out.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you doing comedy or are you doing,
Yeah, I'm doing some comedy. Sometimes I go up and play like music, but I like doing the comedy, like telling stories and stuff and being silly. I like being silly. I like the idea of performing. That's all fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, how long you been doing it?
Hell yeah. Too long. Maybe 7, 8 years. Just playing music and perform, and being a performer for 7 years ish. Yeah.
And the crowds are coming back?
Some crowds are coming back. Yeah.
Yeah?
I talked to some people and they said they never stopped doing open mics, and I'm like, what a freak. I don't get it. You gotta go away. Yeah, you should have went away for 18 months, bud. But,
yeah. I'm in the same place.
You can't tell them what to do, huh?
I haven't done any comedy in since February of 2020.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited. We do have a gig in Pittsburgh, September 16th. So I will be doing comedy very not soon.
Cool.
Nice.
And I think one in
Are you going to go to
Columbus
New York at all, or anywhere close to New York?
we want to. It's about figuring it out. We actually owe New York a show. But it has to fit in with, unfortunately, it has to fit in with Philly, Providence, Portland, Maine, and Boston, because we also owe them a show.
Okay.
So putting that tour together is going to be a little bit harder, but I think we can get it. I mean, the venue we do in New York really likes us, so I'm sure we will be there before the end of this year and before the winter, because
that's
I'm not going to New York when it's cold.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing, is to find a venue that doesn't schedule a band to play right after you or some shit.
That's true. Yeah, the venue we do in New York is really cool. They hold the night for us. They've actually moved people to another night for us that were previously scheduled. Nice. Yeah, they like us. They are they're good eggs at Littlefield. So if you know of a show at Littlefield, you should check it out.
Yeah, Littlefield's cool as shit. Yeah, I've seen some of their shows there.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, have you been listening to Opie's radio show on YouTube?
I haven't.
It's so fucking bad, dude.
I can't wait.
It's so fucking bad.
I gotta get back into Opie Radio. It's been a while, but I'm about to move to. I'm about to get started on the Opie Radio show and Man Cow's Microaggressions this week, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah, I got to get started on that.
Dude, the Shocktovers are great.
Yeah, I got to get started on that. I'm waiting a little longer this year, partly because, like, I already have way more of a working knowledge of these guys than I did for the last 2 years. Like, I have, like, built up. And so I'm getting ready to start listening to The Grease Man, which is, I don't know if anybody knows Grease Man, but he is a racist. Yeah, he's a racist guy that makes noises with his mouth and does characters. I'm doing him this year.
Oh, my God.
Being, yeah.
Oh, he's so bad. He said some really racist shit. So,
yes.
Where are you doing stand-up?
Any new radio shitheads to your Shocktober lineup?
Yeah, Grease Man this year, and God, there was somebody, I think, so I am doing Grease Man this year, and then the other idea I have, I got to talk to Chris about it and stuff. The other idea Ron and Fez, my favorite show of all time.
Yes.
And, like, I love that show.
Hey, dude, I was on that show.
Really?
I was on the Bennington show. They let a bunch of open micers on stage, and, they had some comics that critique the open micers, and I was one of those.
How'd you do?
It was weird. We, not so hot, but the people like it. We did it at the Hard Rock Cafe in Times Square. It was a trip, dude. I loved it.
Yeah, Ron Bennington's my hero, man. He is just, I can't think of a funnier guy on this planet, really. Like he's
absolute sweetheart. Yeah,
he's the best. He is totally the best. Well, Jerry, we got to get these other calls. Thank you for calling in. And I'll start announcing Shocktober stuff very soon.
Love you, buddy.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Peace.
One more question. Who's the substitute? Who's the co-host next year? I forget his name. I'm sorry.
It's me. It's Drew Toothpaste, man.
Drew Toothpaste?
Drew Toothpaste. Yep. It's
Sick.
Drew Week.
It
All
is.
Right. Peace.
Right.
See ya.
Now, okay? Deuces.
Yeah, it's Drew Week. Drew Spears is co-hosting with me on Wednesday. Drew Week.
I saw that. I love it, man.
Night of the Drews.
That's like, I started on Twitter. I realized I had like 5 people I talked to on there named like Andrew or Andy or Drew. So I started a group chat and I added them all. And that's why I found out Twitter had a limit of 50 people. Because I was like, hey, if your name's Andrew, and that's like the 8th most common name or some shit like that. So I immediately got like 100 requests and I added people and it was just chaos. And then everybody I knew left. And then people were like, can we add more people? And I was like, do whatever the fuck you want, man. I'm actually leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. It was good. I like the idea of Drew Week, man. That's like, I ought to start doing Drew Week at my house.
Well, we just had Simone Norman on Heat O'Brien Unleashed, and she was one of the writers on our TV show, and Drew Spears is the other writer. Yeah. There were 4 of us that wrote the show, and he's the other writer, so I was like, hell, let's have them both on in roughly the same period of time so that they can, so that, people can get to know them because they're going to be around for a while. They ain't going anywhere. they're part of the family now.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I just wanted to have them both on. Here we go. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what up? Brian Footpain. Through Toothpaste. It's Slinky, formerly of Florida. Called in a couple times from Florida. Currently in the questionable state of Alabama. How are y'all doing?
Oh, dude, Alabama. I want to go there but we couldn't find a gig.
Can I ask why?
I wanted to perform in Birmingham. I like those southern cities, and I wanted to perform a show in Birmingham, but like the coolest venue there has a weird membership system of some sort, and I think we just had trouble figuring it
Nick?
out.
Are you talking about the Nick?
The Nick, yes.
What kind of, is it like Eyes Wide Shut?
No, I don't know
Not
why.
that cool.
I don't know why, but you have to pay a membership fee to get in and drink, and then you pay for the ticket. But it was the membership fee is like nothing. It was I don't know if it was $5 or 99 cents. It was one of the two, so it didn't matter.
It's like $5, but it is kind of weird. I understand that from a booking perspective. I don't mean to shit on Alabama. I mean, there's good people, but just, systemic stuff is a very big prevalent problem, as is everywhere in the United States.
True, yeah.
But I just want to talk about real quick, circle back to landlord stuff in that first call in. It's not that never about like your specific landlord. It's just that like all of us are just one bad landlord or two bad landlords away from like being homeless or just like fucked over. It's just an imbalance of a power relationship. Like I just got I called last year about unemployment in Florida and all that crazy stuff. And I just got at the end of COVID, I got evicted by like a cop landlord of all people. That's why I'm up here in Alabama. I had to move back in with my parents at the ripe age of 27, just because all these landlords are just gentrifying everything, especially in Florida. Everybody's in this passive income idea, and they want to retire at the age of 45 or 55, and just leech off the rest of us. And, it's just impossible for everybody to be a landlord and everybody to have passive income. It's just like not possible.
Right. And Florida
so, I don't know.
Texas,
it's not about feeling guilty about your specific landlord. Go ahead.
Florida and Texas seem like two places that are going to get pretty rough over the next few years because, everybody from California is moving to Austin and to Florida because they didn't have rules. They didn't have COVID rules, so they were like, I gotta move.
Man, that shit sucks.
It's like an anarcho-capitalist state. It's seriously like the anarcho-capitalist state. If you're an anarcho-capitalist, go to Florida, and I will go wherever you left. That's the deal I'll make you.
Yeah, are you trying to get back to Florida, or are you looking to go somewhere else?
No. So I'm hoping to go northeast because I'm tired of climate change too. I mean, let me tell you. Holy fuck, hurricane seasons and stuff. I lived in Florida for 25 years, but it's just not getting any better as far as between all the government stuff, and the hurricanes. Just like no one gave a fuck the last time we got hit by a hurricane just because there's so much climate damage right now. Nobody just did anything for us. It was ridiculous. Not that, I did mutual aid stuff and me and my friends and comrades did mutual aid stuff, but I mean, you can only do so much when the people in charge aren't doing shit for you,
Yeah, moving somewhere that gets
I'm hoping
cold.
To maybe get somewhere northeast.
Moving somewhere that gets cold is a huge mistake, though. I have to tell you.
Yeah.
If you're not,
no, trust me. I went from Florida. I did Florida, and then the other year I went in Wyoming and worked in Wyoming for a bit, and I went from Florida to negative 20 temperatures in October, and I was like, nope, never doing this. But that's probably extreme. There's probably something in between there.
What's worse than the cold is just the gray. It's like oppressive.
It is.
It's in a lot of places. I know it happens in the Plain States. I know it happens up here in Columbus, in the Midwest, in the Rust Belt, whatever you want to call it. but the gray, it's like you never get a full sunny day for like 3 or 4 months. And like this year, I like a lot of people, I planted some seeds. I saved like some seeds of vegetables I bought, and I planted them, and I was like, that was fun. I'm going to have a garden this year. And I couldn't put stuff outside until like May 18th or something this year.
Jeez. Yeah, it was. It stayed cold an extra long time. It stunk. It stinks. I hate the winter time. I would stay in Florida, but I understand where you're coming from. There's a lot of natural disasters there, and that probably is a blind spot for me.
It's going to get warmer up there soon enough. You know, hopefully it'll be nice and sunny in Ohio in a couple decades all the time. We'll see.
But we don't have anything. We don't have earthquakes here. We're like exactly 600 feet above sea level. We don't have a ton of flooding. We don't have, we get a tornado through every now and then. We don't get hurricanes. So that's why everybody in Ohio wants to move to Florida when they retire. Everybody's parents or uncles or grandparents is like, I can't wait to move to Florida because we've never seen a fucking natural disaster.
It's the coward state. I so believe that, like, if your ancestors moved here, it was because they were cowards and they were like, well, nothing happens there. It's just generally uncomfortable all the time. That's all, you know, but we don't have to worry about a tornado.
Maybe I'm a coward now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a coward now for looking up there, but that's okay with me. I've done my Florida man shit, and I am just like A-okay with just leaving it all behind.
So you're not looking at New York? You're like looking at like Ohio?
I'm looking at upstate. I'm looking at like Rochester, Buffalo. But I mean, mainly I'm looking for a job first, you know, for sure. So I'm going to get out of here real quick. I just wanted to talk real fast. But if anybody out there, I'm kind of just having a crisis about like what kind of job to look for. Because I've worked for so many small business tyrants down south, and I'm just like fucking sick of it. And, you know, I have an English degree. I, you know, have worked in everything from, you know, film to office administration and stuff. And I just like don't know like even what kind of job to look for just at all with my degree in like a real actual city, you know, that's not in Florida, because nothing in there is a real city. It's all service economy and whatnot. So I'm trying to look for a job that maybe I can use my degree in. So if there's anyone out there listening, you got an English degree, or, you know, your skill set sounds similar to mine, you got suggestions or tips, I'd love to talk to you sometime. You know, you can hit me up on Twitter. My name's at NASCAR Noir, like the color black in French, NOIR. Or I'm in the Facebook group. My name's Ed Teach on there. But if anyone has suggestions, I don't got like adults in my life who like were fucking any good for career advice or anything. So,
man, I wish I could help.
It'd be appreciated.
I wish I could help. You know,
I mean, it's okay.
I was recently looking at right before I left to come here, I was reading about that Frito-Lay strike, and I was like, man, if you had told me that there's a Frito-Lay's factory, that would have been something I'd have been working my fucking ass off to get a job at. Because, like, you figure it pays some kind of fucking money. You know, you're making Fritos. It's got to pay something.
And that's what people eat.
Yeah. And then you find out that the guy in the article, man, he's making $20.20 an hour. He's been there for over 20 years. He's 2 years away from retirement. Is the thing, and it's a union job. That's why they're on strike. They voted to go on strike. But oof, man, it's crazy because you honestly should be able to get basically. There should be jobs now, like even service jobs that are paying a decent amount of money because they don't have anybody to work for them. But they'll just rather close the store at random times every day than actually pay people an amount of money that'll get them to stick around and make them loyal. I mean, I go to this Starbucks. Right. I don't ever know if it's going to be open from day to day to day. It just, sometimes it's closed, sometimes it's open. They leave the app up, and then you'll go up there and you'll put in that you want to buy something from from them in the app and you'll pay for it and you'll fucking get there and the dining room's closed. So then you got to go fucking yell through the drive-through window, and half the time they give it to you, half the time they don't. They don't even fucking tell you.
Do you think they're scared of having to like permanently pay people more? Do you think they're scared? They're that terrified of their margin going down just that little bit? Because that does not make up that much of their business.
No, it doesn't seem that. It seems like a fucking Starbucks or Kroger, right?
Yeah.
Like the place that like made more through the pandemic.
Yes.
Is the grocery store.
Yes.
Yet they're fighting to get, like they're closing stores so they don't have to pay $4 more an hour and hero pay and shit. And they're like, they can afford to pay more.
Yeah.
But instead, they would rather just close the fucking store early, because the Kroger in my neighborhood used to be 24 hours. Now it closes at 10.
Yeah, they did that permanently to our grocery too.
Yeah, they did that because they don't want to hire the people to work the late nights anymore. Because they can't fucking find people to work, because people are like, I ain't fucking going, I'm not making fucking $8 an hour. It just isn't going to hire $10 or $12.
It's the last time I looked, because I was explaining to my daughter how you get through your life, because money's so abstract. When we were kids, we had cash and they were like, you're going to need to learn how to make change. Right? Yeah. And kids, everything is credit card and you order it now. And so they don't understand it. And I was explaining to my daughter what making $10 at the grocery store is like, what that entails, and that, no, you can't just go rent a house like we live in, like our family lives in, on $10 an hour. And of course, I mean, we talked about capitalism and the economy and stuff like that, but I still think that kids have no idea and people have no idea about what is actually happening.
Right. And there's money. I mean, yeah. They are already charging more for everything too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The other thing about these companies, these Kroger, these McDonald's, these places that are complaining because they can't find employees because they don't want to raise the wages. The other thing about it is, dude, they're always now going to be competing with the gig economy too. And honestly, I mean, jobs at that level for that amount of money that give you the freedom to work the schedule that you want to work, are gonna be more fucking desirable than the ones that are paying you fucking nothing and making you come in at, for whatever hours that they decide to choose for you.
Yeah.
It's just, they're gonna have to fucking do something. It's either gonna have to be the two things me and Brad always talk about. One is obviously they need to pay more money. But two, they also need to have stable scheduling at these places. Because they need
to treat you like you imagined a job when you were a kid and you imagined.
But they won't though.
No, they absolutely
and here's
won't.
Why. Sorry, I'll say my little thing real quick, but
go for it.
It's just, I mean, we're just seeing a huge problem of these people. They think they can just capitalists think they can just expand infinitely. Like all these capitalists, they think they're entitled to your labor and to make a profit off of your labor to buy their yacht and their McMansions. And all these people are doing this individually, but nobody is asking can we sustain a society with a bajillion of these shitty chain stores? And I mean, think of how many new chains have just begun since the year 2005. Think of the chains in 2005 and the chains that exist now. It's just they want to they think they can infinitely expand and infinitely create new profit, but it's just not sustainable. There's just no way that we can have all of these fucking stores that are all funneling money to just a few people and also take care of the fucking workers. And I just see that as the main problem. It's getting worse and worse.
But doesn't it feel like they're contracting at this like some of these like service industry places that would hire service workers, they feel like they're contracting almost because the hours have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter, and the pay, they don't have workers. Again, I think they're competing with like Uber Eats, Uber, which by the way, Uber and Lyft can't find people to do the passenger service anymore, to drive.
Really?
They all want, basically since the pandemic, they all figured out that it's less wear and tear on the inside of your car to do Uber Eats, to just deliver the food.
Okay.
And that, like, you might make a little bit less, but that, like, it's so much less of a headache. Plus, just the pandemic, not wanting people in your fucking car breathing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now people moved over to Uber Eats, and they just fucking are like, I'll just do that. Which to me is like, if I had to go back to the gig economy, that's exactly where the fuck I would go. I would just deliver food all day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking have people making me pick them up and drive them around. I fucking used to have motherfuckers on campus pick me up and have me drive them 2 blocks down. You get paid $4 for that. No. They pay $4 for that.
And you got what out of that?
I get a cut of that $4, and they ain't gonna fucking tip. And if they do tip, they'll hit because that's the way they set it up. They'll just hit, even if they hit the 25% button.
That's $1.
A tip of fucking, it's no fucking money.
Yeah.
And it's like, so why not just drive the car and deliver the shit? I would just rather do that. But there's just all these new jobs, these gig jobs that suck and fuck you over. But if they somehow, like pass listen, I'm going to sound so stupid here, so please don't yell at me. But if they pass the PRO Act and then they have to do the ABC test on these companies and they make them actually treat people like employees, I'd be curious to see how something like that would even work. But like places like these McDonald's and stuff, I think they're going to head down the independent contractor route. Like, I think there's going to be fucking apps for restaurants that the manager at the restaurant can fucking hit a button and get an employee to just come in and work for that day and make like $3
it's like a bat signal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would love just absolute on demand. Just you are if you are working for them, you are just waiting for your red telephone to ring so you can spring into action.
Yeah.
And if you don't pick up the phone,
just
if you
like
miss
a bat signal, but a Big Mac.
Yeah.
You put up a Big Mac.
You can still even just turn the app off, but maybe they'll be like, oh, because me and Brett did a story a couple years ago now about a barista app where people were calling themselves freelance baristas, which is like crazy. But it was basically a system in which there's an app, and then a coffee shop's, can look through candidates. Like, basically, you have to have like a certain amount of experience and know how to make a certain amount of drinks or something like that. But they could then hire you, and you could work at this place for a day, for 2 weeks, and then move on to the next place. It's for people that want to like kind of travel around and live that lifestyle where you go from place to place. Like they framed it as like this flexible